Hey guys, welcome back to our real life scenario. Hey, look at that. We are back. Hey, we are back. We got so many things to address, so let's get to it. Number one,
Whew.
unplugged connections.
Oh
Rhonda.
my gosh. Yes.
So we haven't talked to you guys since we actually had our event, because obviously the week after we told y'all we were recording before, and then we had a Thanksgiving break. We was off for the holiday. So we had a look back episode. Hope you guys enjoyed that.
Yeah.
But we haven't had a chance to talk to you guys about unplugged connections. So first, number one, for all the real lovers who were there, we appreciate you
So much.
so much.
Woo, I think I'm still on a high a little bit.
It is.
Yeah, like it was so good. I think it was probably better than what we even expected.
Right?
Like we went into it with realistic expectations and like
sure.
we're going to have a good time at the end of the day. It's going to be a celebration, but then to like see the room, I just remember coming upstairs and like looking across the room like, wait a minute. Y'all are here for us.
For sure.
Yeah, it was great. It was so good.
It was like
so good.
the live podcast. If you haven't seen it, it's out on YouTube for you to be able to see that. That was a lot of fun. I didn't think I would have that much fun doing it, but that was like a really good time, especially when we had people actually sit down and got to talk to them.
Yes.
That was awesome. Shout out to your Aunt Angela, right?
Yes, Aunt Angie.
Aunt Angie.
Yes.
But it was just a great time. And then, like you said, to go upstairs and just see like, oh, it's people here. And people actually interacting, people playing games, people just having fun and having a good time, jamming out to the music.
And people really were like unplugging.
They were.
Yeah, like a lot of people, I didn't see a lot of people in their phones, you know, occasional taking of photos and stuff like that. But people were really like talking and connecting and meeting new people. So
sure.
it was, whew, we did that. If
I do say so myself. You know, we did. And I'm so thankful for everybody who came out, because it's how everyone showed up is going to allow us to do more of that and have better, more fruitful partnerships with the Lion Hotel, but also with other businesses and brands as well. So super appreciative of everybody. And if you didn't come, you should have FOMO.
Yeah,
you missed out.
You should have FOMO. I'm not even gonna lie, because it was a good time. And as you mentioned, the Lion Hotel, who was an amazing partner and hosted this for us. Man, the team was just so accommodating.
So great. Shout
out to Lauren. Lauren,
Lauren, we appreciate you.
You got a special permanent place in our hearts.
For sure.
Because you just went above and beyond to take care of us. So thank you.
And thank you, Carmen, as well.
Yes, Carmen. Literally, I wish I knew everyone's name, because it was a big team.
Yeah,
From
it was
the
a big team.
bartenders to those helping out with the food, to those just supporting Lauren and Carmen. I mean, I saw that like the AV team, which I think one of the guys' names was Brian. He's very nice. It was a big team, and y'all were amazing.
For sure.
Amazing.
For sure.
Yes.
And want to shout out to Alexia.
Oh my gosh, Alexia, my little heart.
Alexia is our heart.
Yes.
That's our heart right
I've
there.
always felt, and I know Alexia's going to hear this because she listens to all the episodes. I always felt very attached to her, obviously just through knowing her through our group chat and emails and all that stuff. But I had never met her. But I always felt like, oh, she's so sweet. Like, she's just so kind and she's just hardworking. But then to see her, it was just like, oh, come here. Get over here. And then she got us gifts. Oh my gosh.
I told you she was the sweetest person.
She is so sweet. She is so sweet. And she also from the South. And Southern people tend to be very, very sweet people. They tend to be. So Alexia, we love you. We say it a lot, but that just means that we really mean it.
For sure. Yes. And for those who don't know, Alexia is part of the Relationship Restore fam, but she's in charge of like all of our social media and digital stuff.
Yes.
She is awesome.
She is awesome.
How was your turkey day?
My turkey day was good. It was, we went to dinner, my mom, my grandmother, and my aunt. We started really with just my mom and I years ago. I think it started in 2017. This was like the first year in my whole life that my mother was like, I don't really feel like cooking. And
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
And I was like, no, when she first said it to me, I was like,
you okay?
What do you mean? You don't feel like it? Like, that just sounds crazy.
Yeah.
You've cooked my entire life.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, it's just something, like I'm not feeling it. And at the time I was in a relationship, and I told him, and he was like, well, babe, sometimes people really do go to dinner for Thanksgiving. Like, restaurants are open. Like, some people just don't want to do that. This is a part of their tradition. And so we did it, and we loved the fact that we could just order whatever we wanted. Drink, eat, dessert, all the things, hang out, stay as long as we wanted to, and then get up and leave. No dishes, no cleaning up, no prep, no nothing.
You ain't hear the words. Y'all need to get some of this food.
Get these plates, take it out of here. Y'all need to get
some of these plates. Y'all need to take some of this food now.
Nothing.
Take it home to your wife. Go ahead, take an extra plate for her.
Yeah. So the following year, she actually had cancer. So same thing. We went to dinner, and so it's just been a thing. But the last 2 years, we couldn't even spend Thanksgiving together because I had the C word.
Yeah.
And then the year before she had the C word. Not cancer, the one that we all been dealing with, but I don't want us to get demonetized because that word gets tricky online. So yes, it was amazing. Food was great. We had Indian food. My grandmother, it was her first time ever eating Indian food, and she is 90. Wow. And she loved it. I have a video where she's like, she got lamb.
Okay.
And palak paneer, which is like a spinach based like starch or side dish. We had samosa chats and chickpeas. I mean, we had a lot of stuff. We all kind of ate off of each other's plates. It was amazing. But she's in the video like, and I was so happy that she got to have a first time at 90. Yeah. So it was awesome. Good. It was good. How was yours?
It was good. My wife and I spent it separate this year. We split duties. So she went down to see her family in Florida. I stayed up here with my family, especially because on my dad's side, like my uncle passed away recently. So just spending time with that side of the family. Got to see my parents and stuff, hang out with them too. So it was good. Just a day. I like Christmas, right? Because I just feel like it's really the only holiday that truly has like its own just energy. It has its own music. It has its own month leading up to it. It's just like the movies. It's like everything about Christmas, you feel it. Like you can feel the change in the Christmas season coming. But I love Thanksgiving, just the fact that almost forces people to come together. Yes. It's like a thing to where this is the day everybody comes together. Hey, you in town? No, I'm in Denver to see my family. No, I went to Chicago to see my family. Like I love that it forces people to connect and be together. And I love seeing the pictures online with everybody in one house and everybody coming together. It's really cool. So I love Thanksgiving for that reason. And I got to spend it with family. So that was great. Watch some football, do the all normal things.
Exactly what it's supposed to be. What it's supposed to be. Well, good. I'm glad. I hope you all enjoyed your Thanksgiving holiday as well. Whether you technically celebrate it or you just do it as a means to spend time with your family, we hope you got to do that.
For sure. And before we get to our real love scenario, just make sure Brie and I interviewed Pink Sweats and Bunny, his wife, R&B pop star Pink Sweats. Just check it out. It's a really good episode and more of a conversation than really an interview. Just talking about marriage, young Black folks, how we met, how we're dealing with certain things in our relationship, how we heal, how we grow. And it's a pretty good episode, so please check it out on YouTube or anywhere you get podcasts.
It's so cute. Cute in the best way possible. You could just feel the love, even down to like the nonstop touching. Like, hold me, I'm gonna hold you this whole time. It's so cute. So cute.
Love them. All right, let's get to our real love scenario.
Yes.
So this is from Tiana Banana. 113.
All right.
She says, my favorite podcast, 5 stars.
Boom.
That's it, right? I mean, that's all I got.
That's it. Take these mics down.
But I'm going to get more to it. She says, I just want to thank you both for saying yes to host this podcast. You both truly have a calling. I look forward to my commute into work every Tuesday because I know you're both guaranteed to drop some gems as it pertains to navigating relationships. I just love how relatable every scenario is, which helps us insert your advice and your perspectives into our own love scenario. Continue to be intentional, vulnerable, and purposeful. We truly value your insight and ability to connect with so many of us real lovers. May your insight breed and increase healthy relationships. The world needs more of this. So thank you, my distant family.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
We appreciate you. Shout out to a real lover.
Oh, man. Something about that word purposeful just hit me in the chest.
And I always use the word intentional. So like intentionality is such a big thing for me.
I'm so glad we help your commute in the mornings on Tuesdays and that this is your favorite podcast.
Right? What's going on, girl?
I love that.
Stay focused on the road. I know you probably like, oh, they read my joint. Stay focused. Stay focused.
Stay focused. We appreciate
But
that
we
so
appreciate
much.
you. Shout out to the real lover. Let us know what city you in too. So whenever we do something, we can make sure that we...
Yes, we lock in with you. That was amazing. And listen, we need you to be like her and leave us a review. If you're listening and you haven't done that, it is no max. You can literally just go in there and say, I love this show, and rate it 4 or 5 stars, preferably 5. 6 if they have that available. But yes, just leave a review. It means a lot to us and it goes a long way.
So much. We appreciate you. Okay, so let's get into our real life love scenario. So there's been a lot of things on the internets.
Oh my gosh.
Since we last recorded.
Oh my gosh.
Some things we're going to wait to talk with experts about because it's been some really disturbing things, to say the least.
Yes, and we want y'all to know, I'm sure you can pick up what we're putting down. We're not dodging the conversation, but we want to do it very thoughtfully and break down certain parts of it. So that's all this is. Because that's been a thing too, where people are like getting on people for seemingly discussing the Cassie Diddy thing, and it's like that's not what this is. But we feel like it's a bigger conversation
for
that
sure.
really should be had with professionals
for sure
in the room. So
because we had text about this that when. We just dropped the Pink Sweats and Bunny clip when she talked about how she knew he was the one, and you can see she starts to break, like just in her saying like, you know, people in the industry are weird, and you hear her voice crack when she says that, and it's like I don't know what that was, but it's like, oh, that's something there,
absolutely,
like, and it's been, and you and I talked about your experiences, and even you aren't like heavy in the industry,
no, not
like so you can only
shot.
like it's not like your career was music or you're dependent on this producer or this label or that.
No,
so there'll be
and the issue extends well beyond industry.
Very true.
Yeah, this is something that is just sometimes extremely commonplace in interactions between men and women. And so yeah, it's heavy, but I'll just say thoughts and prayers for sure her and also any victims of any just really bad things. It's tough, and it was triggering for sure, but we're gonna get into it later.
But we're going to get into another situation.
Also a lot.
That's also a lot. So we're going to talk about Kiki and Darius.
Yes.
And Sharon.
Yes.
Palmer.
So the Jacksons and the Palmers is what we're going to be talking about. Oh, Lord.
So as most people know, it started back with the whole Usher thing, right? We're going to take a step back. Walk with me down this path.
Okay.
So you know that Kiki, you know, was approached by Usher during his Las Vegas show, and seemed to be a nice little innocent moment that everybody was like, "Oh, that's cute." But then Darius, her boyfriend, aka baby daddy, commented about it and was just like, you know, basically, you a mama, you a mother, as they would say in the DMV with my V, you a mother, and you shouldn't be acting like that, addressing like that.
Yeah,
everybody, you know, broke the internet, thought he overreacted, keep that internal. But it seemed like they were able to move on from it because they were seen like together at one point and seemed to like, okay, let's move past this.
Yep.
But then recently we saw that Kiki Palmer had filed for a restraining order and it was granted.
Yes, and custody.
So just for people who don't know, to ask for a restraining order and they get granted, you have to show some type of proof or reason why you need this restraining order, especially if it's granted like quickly.
Yes.
It's like, oh yeah, you need you need the space. And then some videos came out of it seemed like he was putting his hands on her. Which all led to the conversation that we want to have today, to where basically Kiki's mother was recorded talking to Darius.
Yes.
Assuming Darius recorded it. Because his voice was very clear, hers was more in the distance.
Yes.
And basically she cursed him out. And basically gathered him about how he's treating her daughter.
Correct.
So my question is, when it comes to this situation, because there's so many different things we could talk about.
So many.
But as an adult who's in a relationship, Kiki Palmer has a special place in my heart. I always say that.
Yes,
I grew up with her. We the same age, but I didn't grow up with her. Let me make that clear. We didn't go to grade school together, but I grew up watching her.
Yes.
But as an adult, if you are dealing with something in your relationship, is it appropriate for other family members, especially like a parent, to come into the conversation in order to help defend you or to, I don't know, make a point about why you shouldn't be treating their daughter or cousin or brother or sister that way? What's your thoughts?
I think it's a case by case situation, because there are some situations where my answer to that question is absolutely not. Your family should not get involved. They should not reach out directly to your partner. And they should mind their business. Just because you're confiding in them or venting to them about something. Let's say y'all had a disagreement about, I don't know, somebody stayed out too late one night, and then you're visiting with your mother and you're telling your mom, like, yeah, he stayed out until 5 o'clock in the morning. My mother should not call my man and be like, hey, you need to stop staying out till 5 o'clock in the morning. In that situation, it would be wrong for my mom to get involved, because to me, it doesn't require it. It does not require that. In this situation specifically, 100%, I do not know a mother, especially a Black one, who loves their child, who has raised and taken care of their child, who has a close relationship with their child. Kiki has been known notoriously to talk about her family, her dynamic with her mother and her father, that she has a good relationship with them. Her mother manages her and all of that.
Ever since she was little.
Yeah, so this is my girl, like this is my mom. So if my child is coming to me and telling me that you are verbally abusing her, that you are physically abusing her, that you have done that in front of your now new child, who, granted, is he old enough to remember these things? He's not yet.
Yeah.
I don't know a Black mom that's not going to get involved in that. My mother would have stepped straight to Darius, like in his face.
Where you at?
Yeah, like to hell with the phone calls. Like, when he gets there, let me know, because I'm coming, and I'm coming in hot. 100%. It gets too messy, because it's dangerous. And I think, unfortunately, Kiki is obviously in this situation with him, so she has a certain love and like for him that allows her to be lost in abuse. Okay, like that's again very multi-layered, and I even think in that episode that we're planning for the future that will come up of how victims stay with people who harm them in this way, because according to them, the verbal abuse started before she was pregnant. Some of the physical parts of it started before she was pregnant. So this is not new. It just sounds like it increased and it worsened. Once the Usher thing happened, that triggered it, because now there's a baby involved. He feels more possessive over like what she should and shouldn't do. But yeah, I don't know a parent that wouldn't do that. I just simply don't. And it sucks, because again, Kiki being in the middle of it, I don't want to say she's at fault, because that's not what I'm trying to say. But when you have a family member that is defending you this strongly, but you won't leave the situation, now you got your person and your parent or whomever the family member is at odds, and you're kind of stuck in the middle of like, yes, I want my mother to defend me, but I also just want him to stop so we can have a good relationship. And now, how do you get past that? Like, if he does stop, like how do you get past it? I don't know. I don't envy any of their positions, but to answer your question very directly, I don't know a parent that wouldn't get involved. If it was my child, I would be very involved. Yeah,
no, I get it. That reminds me, we both said that we watched Tyler Perry's documentary, Maxine's Baby.
Yes.
And remember the aunt?
Yep. Like, what's up? Like, you want to put your hands on him? You beating him? No problem. What's up?
Basically,
do it again.
Basically, for those who haven't seen it, go watch it. And it's a documentary, so it's not like a spoiler alert. But basically, everybody knows, I think for the most part, that Tyler Perry dealt with like abuse as a child.
Yes.
But it was his cousin was basically telling the story about how they end up telling his aunt, his cousin's mother, and she got her gat
She pulled that whip out, pulled it out,
and walked over there and was like,
"You beating him? You touching him? You touching him? Oh yeah, yeah." Like, I'm sorry, like it's and he was a child, but while Kiki's a woman, it's still the exact same concept.
Yeah, I think that I get it. I agree with you that it's certain situations, but one thing that I think is very difficult, especially depending on how close you are with somebody, and I did this recently with Bree, is that if you have somebody that you love, and let's say you overhear a conversation or they're on the phone and you hear something and there's a conversation being had, but let's say it could be on speaker or anything, and you just walk by, you hearing how somebody's talking, and then you'll just sit there and just be like, this is interesting. And then if you know the person on the other side, I've grabbed the phone before and be like, listen, hey, nah, we can't do that. We're not doing that. Or like recently, Bree talked to a friend, and the friend was saying stuff, and I hopped in the FaceTime. I was like, hey, that don't make no sense. And I feel like too, like when certain people, I think it deals with men and women sometimes, or elders, that sometimes if somebody's talking to a friend, let's say woman to woman, it's the way that they could talk sometimes could be a little like, a little more free. Yeah. But then if a man comes in and be like, nah, like then it settles down a little bit, because it's like, you ain't gonna take that tone, you ain't gonna be talking like, let's calm it down. Or with the elder, sometimes it's like, oh, we doing this. Then a older, person, parent, something like that steps in, and it's like, lower your tone. Like, that's not how we talk. Like, talk crazy now.
Yeah.
And I need you to
pump it down. Yep.
Like, and I ain't even trying to be in it, but I hear it. Like, that's how you know something is bad, when it overflows into other people's lives who are close to you.
Yes.
Like, if you can deal with it yourself, I feel like, the problems, even though people deal with a lot of intense things on their own, like if it can be self-contained, a lot of times it's not as much of a problem sometimes. But if it starts to spill into other people's lives, like for instance, you show up with a bruise on your face.
Yes.
Where'd that come from?
Where is that? Yeah. What's going on?
What happened? Now that involves me, because I can see somebody I love is bruised on their face.
That's it.
Where'd that come from?
Right.
If it can't even be self-contained, because that's how toxic the situation is. Oh yeah, I'm getting involved.
Absolutely.
Especially if it's somebody I love, and especially my child.
Like, I don't have a baby, but I believe inherently that thing just happens to you. Like, you become a parent and you become like a dog about your kids. Like, listen. I have seen people go nuts off of saying things like they didn't do anything to the child, but they might have said something inappropriate about the child. Like, in a conversation, I have seen people damn near foam at the mouth out of, like, this is the calmest, kindest person, but you F with my baby? I've seen it again with my own mother. Like, my mother has gone nuts about me, okay?
And they'll pull out something on you. They'll say something to you that how you really like,
what?
Listen, I'm 65 years old. I got more years behind me than in front of me, so I'm okay with sitting in the cell if I need to.
I die about mine.
You better get it right.
I die about mine.
You be looking like,
oh wow.
Ooh,
okay.
She talking about killing me.
Yeah. Like, and I think when you think about, okay, some of the things that she specifically said, like, oh, your family is this or whatever, are they jabs and low blows? And in a normal situation, are they wrong to say? Of course. Yeah. Like, his behaviors may not necessarily have anything to do with his family. His parents may not have necessarily raised him poorly. This could just be something that's really wrong with him. Now, granted, in this situation, things have come out that shows that his mother once filed a protective order against his father for domestic violence many years ago. So do with that what you will. There's allegedly stuff with his brother. Again, allegedly. None of this stuff is proven. Other than that restraining order with his parents is a fact. I saw it with my own eyes. That was truly filed. But yes, the gloves are off when, like you said, a situation gets that toxic.
But one thing that I've noticed, and like I said, a lot of stuff is alleged. I don't know Darius personally or none of them personally, but just from what I'm seeing and things that I've seen in the past, is that a lot of people who are manipulative play the victim in those situations where things tend to get super intense.
Yeah.
Right. Or when they're called out on other situations. So it's like, even in this thing, it's like, I'm recording it. I'm the victim. You see how she's talking to me?
Yes.
I don't know why you're talking to me like this. You know, this is between me and your daughter. And it's just like, oh, so when you was choking and hands on her, that was, but now you're in this position and somebody coming at you now.
It's talk to me this way.
I don't get why you would talk to me this way, you know, and that's, you're trying to take my child away from me. And it's, you know, then it becomes this thing to where it's like, how could you do this to me? Or only if you acted right and dressed right, then we wouldn't be doing any of this. None of this is on me.
No.
It's on you.
Of course. And I think just like most actual victims, Kiki in this situation, you think that she told her mother the first time something happened?
No.
You think she told her the second time?
No.
Absolutely not. I think her mother learned of it after the baby.
Yeah.
I do. I think that it
because
just,
it probably started to spill over. It
worse.
Couldn't be self-contained.
Correct. Like, you are doing too much. And as a person who's been in a situation where I've never been like physically abused by a man, but I have been mentally abused by a man, and I have been emotionally abused by a man. And it took time, like progressively, the more that we interacted, and granted, it was toxic on both sides. Like even if my toxicity was primarily not leaving him alone, but yes, it would be moments where it's like, I missed him, even though he was harming me. I still, like, he would apologize and all the things. So then I would go back. But the longer I stayed with it, the worse it got. It was, at first it was just this one little thing that's like, that's not cool, but he said sorry. Then it escalates and it escalates and it escalates. And it had escalated to a point where I was confident that if something happened to me, he did it. And I told multiple friends that. I never, still to this day, have ever told my mother about this situation. This was years ago. But my friends, some of my closest friends, I had a folder in my email that was called, if something happens to me, he did it. And it was just a bunch of proof of stuff in there, from conversations, screenshots, videos of him popping up at my house, me catching him following me to places. I put it all in a folder in case something happened to me, because again, it had risen to that occasion that like, this could get wild, and it could get wild really fast. And a lot of people don't know, because not only am I scared, but I'm embarrassed.
Yeah.
I'm embarrassed that I'm not.
That'd be part of it.
Yeah, that I'm not strong enough to walk away from this situation, that some part of me is like thinking that I can help him and I can fix him, and I could be like, you know what? He just went through a lot as a kid, and maybe he saw someone else doing this, and I could love him out of being this way. So I do not think for 2 seconds Kiki's mother knew the entire time.
Yeah,
I think she probably got caught up to speed, and now it's like, you doing what? Boy, I will put a blank in your head. I will do that. Like, yeah, I don't know. I can't be but so mad at the parents' now involvement, because it's that bad. Yeah. And like you said, the fact that she was able to petition the court and receive temporary protective order and temporary full custody of that child, as in, you can't do anything with him. You can't see him. You can't pick him up from school. You cannot ask about him. You cannot go to doctor's appointments. You must stay away from her and the baby.
Yeah.
Come on, the court is not going to do that without substantial evidence to do that. And as a person who's petitioned a peace order, you automatically get it until you get a court date. The court date is usually quick because of the safety precautions around it. But when you go in front of that judge, you have to prove why you need this, why you believe that you need this, and the judge will determine how long it should last, stipulate out all the rules. So yeah, she presented a significant amount of evidence to get those two things that quickly. Yeah. So I don't think there's any debate around the fact that he was abusing her.
Yeah,
no
for
debate
sure.
there.
Well, we are praying for all of them involved.
Seriously.
Darius included.
Yeah.
Just praying that it just can get settled, that they can come together, you know, make sensible choices and decisions, take care of one another. Yeah. Especially with a child involved, that's the most important thing as parents, is making sure that you provide a safe, healthy environment for that child. We just pray that they figure that out. So
yeah. And unfortunately, with the internet, it's a permanent stamp.
It
so
is.
Even though he doesn't know what's happening right now, if he ever got curious, he would be able to find all of this stuff about his parents.
For sure.
Which is very unfortunate. Very, very, very unfortunate.
For sure.
So praying for everyone involved, for sure. Woo! All right. Let's get into another little bit of a crazy situation.
A real love scenario.
little crazy this week. All right. Our real lover's name is Shells, and Shells says, I met a man online. He is a divorced father, and I too am a mom. We live about an hour and a half apart, so we are somewhat long distance. From the very beginning, we had such a great connection. We expressed our intentions for dating, and we both were looking for commitment and eventually marriage. We talked consistently, had so much in common, and overall, I enjoyed everything about getting to know him. He was direct and intentional, handled me perfectly, and eventually with time and effort made me feel so secure with him that I was able to let my guard down and feel comfortable. Even though it was moving fast, I was falling for him and he was falling for me too. He said he saw his future with me and wanted to have a baby when we got married in the future. We continued to grow close, and 2 weeks ago he said he'd like for our kids to meet, and he wanted to spend Thanksgiving with me and my family. In the back of my mind, it felt like these topics were too premature and that he was just living in the moment and just speaking out of lust. But at the same time, as someone who wants a committed relationship, those are all the things I wanted to hear. Also for me, the approach to the sexual part of any relationship is very important because I'm so used to most men getting into the conversation about sex pretty early on or just flat out making moves towards it, and I don't like that, and it makes me feel insecure as if that's all they want. So I was so impressed with the fact that he hadn't done either. He was a perfect gentleman, which was refreshing in today's dating market. Well, after 2.5 months together, we slept together. And it also felt very intimate because of our feelings toward each other. At this point, everything seemed amazing and it had great potential. We continued to spend more time together, including spending nights together. However, after a few failed arrangements, I started to get a bit suspicious about a few red flags. So I did some digging and found out that he lied to me about practically everything. His name was not the name he gave me. The number we were actively speaking on was a fake number, like a Google Voice number. He was still married to his children's mother for 10 years, not just co-parenting with her. And lastly, he did not live with a relative because he had already had a house with his wife and lived with her. I was angry, heartbroken, and felt like he had taken advantage of me. On the same day I discovered all of this, his brother was murdered, and I didn't want to be insensitive about it, but unfortunately I couldn't hold it in, and I texted him what I found. From that point on, I couldn't reach him, didn't see him, and I can only assume he deleted the Google number and his social media, which is how I found out about all of this. I'm now left with no reason nor a way to find out what was the motive behind all of this. I have friends and family now trying to convince me that I need to tell his wife because she needs to know and it's only fair. My dilemma with this is if I did that, I'd feel guilty burning down this woman's happiness in marriage. I honestly don't feel like it's my responsibility to disclose this to her, and I would only be doing it to punish him. Am I delusional for assuming that there must be more to this story and he is not just in the right place to tell me right now because of his brother's death? The thing that makes me more upset is that I still truly miss him and his presence. I wish it didn't end like this, and I still want to reach out to him to ask him why. So my question is, should I tell his wife or keep my mouth shut and move on from all of this? It's been 5 days since we spoke, and today is his brother's funeral, so I know he is still mourning. Thank you, Shells, for your real love scenario. Now you might notice that it was a bit rewritten, and it's because it was very, very, very detailed. So we'll get into the details as we talk through the scenario. But boy, oh boy, it's rough out here, man. I feel so bad for some of our real lovers. I feel so bad for myself. I feel just bad. These stories be like, all right, okay, all right, we strapping it on, getting ready.
All right,
I don't have no sleeves to roll up, but here we go.
You want me to start, Rhonda?
Yes, please, because I don't ask me where we should start. You go.
Okay, so first, Shells, I'm sorry that you're dealing with this. Really am. I really am. All right, Rhonda, this is where we're gonna start.
All right,
and it's gonna start with me making a statement.
All right.
Me and my pops were talking about this the other day. Mm-hmm. The number one reason that relationships do not work, obviously there are other reasons, but number one is selfishness. And I want to break that down because a lot of people do not understand. Maybe we don't have the same definition of selfishness. So I'm going to read the definition of selfishness.
Okay.
Lacking consideration for others, concerned chiefly with one's own personal profit or pleasure. Lacking consideration for others. That means that you don't care if you hurt people.
Yeah.
And you are only concerned with your own pleasure and profit. Now that we have that definition, right? I want to make it clear. Protecting yourself is not being selfish. Taking care of yourself is not being selfish, because being chiefly concerned about your own personal profit and pleasure is only one part of selfishness. The other part is a lack of consideration for others.
Yes.
Sometimes we have selfish moments. You go to the spa, phone on do not disturb. You're not worried about anybody else but yourself and relaxation. That doesn't make you a selfish person, right? So now that we have that definition, I want you to think, everybody who's listening, Rhonda, you included, think back to all the relationships that didn't work, all the problems. And I know what we're going to do. We're going to go back to actions. Oh, he cheated. Oh, he wasn't trustworthy. Oh, he lied. But when that happened, tell me, who were they chiefly focused on when they did those acts? You or themselves?
Themselves.
And did they consider your feelings when they were doing those things? No.
Nope.
They were being selfish.
Yep.
Every bad situation for most relationships you can trace back to people being selfish and only concerned about themselves.
Yes.
So when you're in a relationship with a selfish person, you need to run the opposite way.
For sure.
Do you want to live a lifetime with somebody who's extremely selfish? Do you want to have a baby with a selfish person? Do you want to have a house? Do you want to share finances with a selfish person? No, it's not going to work.
No.
You can't move forward with a lifelong relationship with somebody who's only concerned for themselves.
That's it.
That's like the golden rule. What's the golden rule? Treat people like you want to be treated. Translation, stop being selfish.
That's right.
Because you essentially, a lot of people, human nature is to be selfish and think about yourself.
Yeah.
But the golden rule is to treat people as if you were treating them as if they were you.
Yes.
Which means don't be selfish. Right. So 4 shells here. I'm going to help you with this because she wants closure, right?
Yeah.
You want to know why he did all these things. I'm going to tell you why. He's selfish.
Flat out.
But that may not be enough. So let's break it down. Number 1, why did he lie about his name? Well, the reason why he lied about his name is he lacks consideration for you and is only chiefly concerned about his own personal profit or pleasure.
Also known as selfish.
Thank you, Drake, for answering that question. I appreciate it. No problem. I got another question, though. Why did he lie about his wife and kids? Great question. I know you probably feel like you got to talk to him to figure that out, but I got you. He lacks consideration for you and is concerned chiefly with his own pleasure and profit.
100%.
That's the answer to that question. Lastly, you might have another question. Why did he just go ghost? Why did he, delete the social media, not answering your texts? That's a hard one. I get it. I'll answer that. I get it. That's a confusing question. You trying to figure out. Maybe you need to reach out to him and figure that out. I'll help you out. He lacks consideration for you and is chiefly concerned about his own pleasure and profit. He's selfish. He doesn't care about you.
Yeah.
He cares about himself and how he feels and how the actions that he takes make him feel.
Yeah.
He is selfish.
Yep.
Run away from selfish people. You don't want to spend a lifetime with them or try to make it work because it's never going to work.
Yeah.
And also don't fall for the trap because these people who show lack of consideration for you, when they come at you about the problems that you address them about, they'll try to make you feel like you were inconsiderate to them.
That's right.
When they were really being inconsiderate to you, because at the end of the day, they're chiefly focused on their own profit and pleasure.
Bravo. That's it. I mean, I have obviously things to contribute to the conversation, but that is the biggest takeaway when it comes to the whole moving away from this or gaining closure. It is baffling to me sometimes how you can be on the receiving end of something so disrespectful, so hurtful. You know, you have spent a good 3 months or so with this person, getting to know him, spending time with him, talking to him. He's saying that he wants the same things that you want. Literally from day one, he's dating with intention. He ultimately wants marriage. He would want to have a child with you, which she talked about in some of the other details, that initially he said that he didn't want any more kids because he already had kids. But then the more you all talked and spent time together, he's like, I actually would want another kid because of you, which I don't know if that's something that you potentially told him, that like you would want to have another child. And that's why he said that to you. Again, one of those things that makes you feel really good. It's like, man, everything is lining up. I want to compartmentalize two things here. Sometimes the first thing is sometimes a person, you can't sniff it out. Sometimes they are just really good at what they're doing. Sometimes all the checks are checking out. The T's are crossed, the I's are dotted, and it's like, he's a man of his word. He said he gonna do this and he did it. He calls me consistently. She even talked about like he anticipated my needs after a while. You know, I didn't have to ask him for certain things. He just did it. These are all things that a single woman who is looking for partnership is looking for. This is what the experts are going to tell you, that this is, you want a man that's intentional, you want a man that's consistent, you want someone that's going to give you time and attention. So it sounds like he was doing all of those things, right? So you couldn't sniff it out right there. It's like, all right, this is correct. But then you have the flip side of that, which there were some flags in here. There were some flags, and to me, they were glaring flags that were ignored, seen, peeped. But when you combine the two things, he seems to be honorable in all these other ways. So the flags, you like, they maybe not are real flags. Like maybe I should believe that he lives with his relative. And that's why I can't go to his house, because I'm going to assume that the nights that you all spent together were never in his domain. They were never wherever he lives. And he was able to tell you a story that I live with a relative. That's why you can't come to my house. I'm telling y'all right now, man, woman, I don't care who it is, but I feel like women get okie doke by this the most. If a man tells you, an adult male, functioning adult male, y'all are not fresh out of college, y'all are not college age, so he's in college. If he has a job and he is a full-grown adult and he says he lives with someone, a friend or a family member, but you can't go to that household, it is a lie. It is a lie. Don't accept it. Don't believe it to be anything else. He's lying. He could very well live with a friend, but it is more than whatever it is he's telling you. I have never, from my own experiences with it to my friends' experiences with it, when a man said he lived with someone and you can't come to the house because of that, whoever that someone is not who he said it is. It's a woman, it's an ex, it's a baby mama, it is somebody that your presence being in there would disrupt whatever that is. If in 3 months a man never takes you to his house, never shows you where he lives, it's not copacetic, baby. Something is wrong. Don't ever proceed past that flag. That to me was the biggest glaring red flag, that he lives somewhere and you can't come there. The second pretty glaring red flag is pace. And listen, I'm here for falling in love, love at first sight. I'm here for the fantasy of it all, the romance of it all. But I said this a couple episodes ago. That is only beautiful when it actually worked out on the backside. So it's only cute when now you've been married for 10 years or 2 years or 1 year. And it's like, I asked this person to marry me in 3 months. I asked this person to marry me in 3 days. You know, like it's only cute when it actually works out later on down the road. Up front, you should be very nervous about a person saying they want to marry you specifically very fast. You should be very concerned about a person twisting and changing what they say they would or wouldn't do based on what you say you like, because that's just someone that's telling you what you want to hear. If he said he didn't want kids when he only knew you for a day, But then he talks to you for 3 or 4 weeks and it's like, well, maybe I will have a kid with you. Nah, he's just telling you something that's going to make you feel good. And you picked up on that in this situation, that this was premature. And, it felt like we were having these conversations too fast. And he wanted to introduce you to his kids or y'all's kids to meet after 2.5 months of dating. It was between speed and living arrangement. There were little signs that this was not what it was giving. Now, the part that I didn't read in the scenario, before I toss it back to you, is that she talked about meeting on a dating app where they used fake names. They both used fake names. Mm-hmm. She did, he did. But then once they got to talking, they said, well, my real name is this. And he, of course, said, my real name is this, all for you to later find out that was not
his real name.
His real name. This man is very committed to being very selfish and very manipulative. And so some parts of this, like I said, you would not have been able to get around it. Like, the reality of being out here is that it's risky as fuck. It really is. There are some people that no matter how strong of a person you are, how much you think through things and question things, they will be able to get over on you. They just will. And it's a risk that you take when you're dating and getting to know people. It just is. But please stop ignoring the flags. Please, 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 please. They're going to save you a lot of heartache in the long run.
For sure.
Yeah.
Eloquently said, Rhonda. I think that what I want women to understand is that some men just see this as a game. Mm-hmm. Gaming is very popular in today's society. You got people who are professional gamers. They play it on YouTube. People watch them play games.
Yeah.
And the concept of games, especially first player mode, which is what they call it when somebody is playing a game and they're the ones controlling it and they're going through the whole story mode, is that there is an initial challenge. Mm-hmm. And then you play the game to overcome the challenge. And then there's some type of reward. And then you just keep going that until you reach higher levels. Mm-hmm. But it's a form of, the challenge is fun. Mm-hmm. Getting the reward is something that gives you pleasure and is exciting. Mm-hmm. And for a lot of people, or for most people, when it comes to actual video games, it's all fictitious.
Yeah.
Right? But you're living through that to a certain extent. And some people do that with dating. That's just the reality. Mm-hmm. It's a challenge. It's cool. I got to make up a name. Mm-hmm. And let me see how far I can really take this. And it's like, okay, she don't really trust me. Like, man, let me see how I can
get her to let her
guards down. Mm-hmm. And then when you finally say, like, I'm really falling for you, that makes them feel like, I did it. Like, look at me.
Yeah.
And then it's like, now we getting intimate and like, look at this. And it's just a game. That's why it's so easy for some people to just cut it off. It's like, all right.
Yeah.
I got figured out. It's all done now. Like, on to the next.
On to the next. And it's... I think what I was saying earlier didn't finish my thought about what it baffles me. One of the things that baffles me is even when this much stuff happens to you, that you still want more. You still want to know more. You still want to actually hear from the person that you just learned lied to you about practically everything that they told you. Do you expect what after that for them to be honest? Even if they are honest, like, yes, I lied. Yes, I'm still married. Yes, I live with my wife. What are you looking for?
I think I said that in our first or second episode, is that this person told you all these words, which are a lie. Mm-hmm. And you're saying, I want more words now to get closure from you. Everything they said up to this point is a lie. So what do you want to hear from them now to like, what do their words mean to you now moving forward?
Right. It's not.
And why does somebody of that type of character, would their opinion even matter to you? Mm-mm. If they told you, well, I just felt like you were this, or I just felt like you were that. You're a habitual liar. I don't care what you feel about me. Your opinion is not valid, and I don't really care based off of your character what your opinion is of me anyways.
Not at all.
I just thank God that I found this out now and not later. I dodged a bullet.
That's it. And that's it. And close the door. Like,
to
me, to Shells, you are looking to stay connected to this situation. Talking to him and getting an explanation for why he did it is basically you wanting for it to continue to happen. That's how I interpret that. You want to have a conversation with him for him to give you some sort of reason that would make you feel good as to why he did what he did, which let me just give you a couple. It's just I've been married for a long time and my marriage just isn't working out the way I would like to. And I'm neglected at home and it's just a lot of responsibility on me. And yes, I shouldn't have lied to you about my name and all of that, but you just making me feel so good. And I didn't expect for it to go on this long. And like, you are a beautiful person. I enjoy everything, but I'm just trying to figure out how to get out of my marriage. And that's probably what it's going to sound like. It's going to sound like he's doing this because he's very miserable in his marriage and he needs to get out of it. And while he was wrong for being deceitful to you, his intentions were good because he really just likes you so much and you've had such an impact on him. And he just hopes that you will forgive him enough to stay in this stupid cycle of manipulation where now he doesn't even have to manipulate you. You'll do the work for him.
And then you know what he gonna sprinkle on there if he real manipulative? I lost my brother recently and it just put a lot of things into perspective for me about who's really important in my life. And after taking some time, just, I revisit our conversations and our talks and it's just like, he gonna feed you all that.
Yeah. And again, you are going to literally be helping him do it very easily. You are already setting yourself up to do that because you're like, I still want to talk to him. Nothing is wrong with you feeling like you miss him. That's normal. You spent time with this person. So we're humans. It takes time to come down off of high emotions. Just like I just said at the top of the episode, I still feel like I'm on a high from Unplugged Connection, which was almost 3 weeks ago. That was a high emotional feeling. It brought me so much joy. And so, yes, at some point, it probably will feel very normal. I won't think about it every single day, but it's high right now. So no different. Of course you miss him. You liked talking to him every day. You liked spending time with him. You liked spending the night with him. You liked the sex. You liked the idea that, oh my gosh, this could have been my future. That's normal. But once you learn that someone lied to you about their marital status, lied to you about where they live, lied to you about potentially the feelings that they would have for you, gave you a fake name, and created a Google phone number to interact with you. And then when he got caught, he basically stopped talking to you, like deleted every means of connection to him that you had to him. And you still want to talk to him about it? Girl,
it's so.
Girl, I'll come through this camera on you, through this microphone on you.
It's just so easy to be a dreamy partner when you're lying.
Yeah. Yes.
It's so easy.
Oh my gosh! Of course it is.
You don't gotta. You can make up anything.
Whatever. I'm a millionaire.
You too. I got.
No way.
My birthday. I'm a Libra too.
Right. Born in February. Like you can say whatever you want to say when you are painting a story.
For sure.
Even down to the y'all live an hour and a half away. Do you? You don't even really technically know that because you've never been to the man's house. He told you he lives in a certain area. He could live around the damn corner. He could live around the corner from you. And you really have no way of knowing. So it's like, I don't know how to get more women, because I'm going to talk to my people, how to get more women to just not need to talk through these things. That is so many signs of that is it. How he shut down the access to him. Same. He gets no more access to you. He gets no more opportunities to lie to you. He gets no more moments to explain out what he did. He doesn't deserve that. He got more than he deserved to begin with through manipulation. So now again, you just want to be manipulated further. That is now self-harm. All the stuff leading up to this moment is not. He did it to you. But you now trying to go past this moment and still interact with him. Now you're participating. You're no longer a victim. You are a volunteer. And you've got to get strong enough to walk away from situations as soon as they show you that they are very, very, very wrong. This was not a little thing. This is massive.
Let me ask you something.
Girl, you could have been talking to me for all you know.
Very true.
At this point.
Let me ask you something.
Ask me.
Let's say for whatever reason you walked in a cage with a lion because somebody told you the lion was friendly, the lion was nice. And then you got in there and the lion was scratching you up, biting you, doing all this stuff. And you were like, whoa, this was not what I thought it was going to be. Mm-hmm. I got duped. Mm-hmm. After that, knowing that you got hurt by the lion, would you be like, hey, can I go back in the cage and just, something had to be up?
The lion just didn't know that I was nice. The lion didn't know that I was just trying to give him a hug.
I know I got the scars. My leg almost got bit off, and I'm in a sling right now, and the eye patch on. But instead of just taking that as a lesson and not go near that ever again, or anything that looks similar to it or close to it ever, can I just get back in the cage? I just want. He didn't know me really. Like, I just want to see what happened.
Maybe the lion can explain to me why he got so vicious and violent like that. No, I would never do anything like that.
Why do you go back to the person that hurt you to get closure from their hurt?
It doesn't live there. I'm telling y'all,
especially because a lot of times the reason that you got hurt is based off of the manipulation that they did in that relationship. So all you're doing is opening the door for more manipulation, which is the same thing you were hurt by in the past.
Yeah, not like nuts. Like he didn't even he didn't even care about you. He's so selfish, as Drake talked about. He didn't even care enough to try to continue to lie. He didn't even care enough to try to explain it. As soon as he knew that you knew, he got out of Dodge. That to me says more than anything, nothing that he did with you was real. None of it. It was all a game. It was all play. He didn't even take a second to apologize and say, okay, like, it's true what you found out. Yeah, I'm really sorry. I wish you all the best. I apologize. He didn't even think enough of you to apologize for it.
But that's, listen, He's a
piece of shit. I'm sorry.
We're glass half full people over here, optimists. Everything is a learning lesson. If you've never dealt with this before, this is a learning lesson for you. One thing you should take away, again, is what Rhonda said. Checking where a guy lives, like, that should be obvious, should be easy. Even if, early on you don't actually go to his house, like, it should be obvious that it's like, oh, I live here, or like, oh, I would, love for you to come over and we can do a night, like, especially 2 months in. If I'm really into it with somebody, we definitely have been past a spot, or you could, even if it's like, oh, I want to drop you off lunch today or something like that, anything.
Yeah.
Figure out, that. But it's just learning lessons for you.
Yes.
You just have to understand how to navigate certain things, because there are people who tell the truth about their whole lives and still crappy people.
Still.
So that's just, that's just getting past, all right, is this a real person? So you have to get past that first. And then there's so much other things that you still have to deal with and still have to unfold. But I understand. And this is the thing, is that I'm not blaming you on this. It's just that manipulative people like this, they prey on people who are wishful and want these relationships and are really seeking partnership. And they hear people like us saying that it's tough and that there's things you have to work through. And so they feel like some of the obstacles, some people don't know whether that's something they should work through or something that's, worth turning around and being like, all right, I'm not doing this anymore. But some people are really convincing when they speak. Like Rhonda said, they're really convincing. They can sell it, especially if they've been at it for a while.
Yep.
They know all the questions that you're going to ask. They know how to prove all the things. And then people, a lot of times, and I think it's just a human thing, that when you ask something of people, especially early on, they make it feel like you're stepping over a line. Right? What do you mean? How you going to say I'm lying about living with my relative? I've been through this. You know what? Like, this is, and I feel like some people are scared of jeopardizing an opportunity with somebody by asking certain questions.
Yeah, they do.
They're scared. They're like, well, if I ask this, it might reveal something that I would have to really say no or walk away from. So I don't want to ask it. It seemed weird, but whatever. They make me feel good when I talk to them.
Yes. Yeah, it is wanting a relationship. She said that, like, as a person who wants a relationship, it's like, yes, I get it. That's the most simplest way to say it. You want a partner, but you don't just want a relationship. You want the right one. You want one with someone that's going to be respectful and honor you and not manipulate you into doing things with them or for them. You want the right relationship. And I encourage anyone who does to say that more like include the depth of that. Like, don't just say, I want a relationship. You want a godly relationship. You want something that you feel safe and very comfortable in across the board. You want to feel like you can close your eyes, turn your back, and fully trust your partner. You want that. You don't just want a relationship, because there's lots of people that are in relationships that I absolutely do not want anything like what they have. I know people that are married and I'm like, that is not the marriage that I would like. I want something very different from what that looks like. I don't want to be a secret. I don't want to be manipulated in any way to do something, because if I then get into it and I find out that you manipulated me into it, now we're dealing with resentment, which is a cancer that we've talked about many times on this show that will break down a relationship. Now I'm in 2-3 years, maybe a child or two in, and I learned that you lied your way into this situation. That does not make me feel good. It feels like I'm looking at a stranger. I don't know who you are, because the person that I thought you were would not do this to me. They just wouldn't. So, I get you wanting to understand why he would do all of this. Dre gave you the answer. He is extremely selfish. He's extremely selfish and extremely manipulative. He probably has no real intention on leaving his marriage, but this could be just like playing a video game for him. This is how he has fun. He meets people and he gets what he wants out of them by way of coercion and telling you what you want to hear, and even taking his time to become intimate with you. Like in how she describes it, 2.5 months was taking his time to get that from you. He was willing to invest that much time and energy just to have sex and make you want and like him. It's crazy, but people do it a lot. This is not like some crazy uncommon thing. And like you said, maybe this is her first time experiencing it, so it's very shocking. But I've experienced that more than once, unfortunately.
And it's easy for him. You ask why? How could he knew it could only go to a certain point when he started it.
He did.
He knew that. Yeah. So he knew he was going to have to cut it off at some point. So it's easy for him. It's like,
it's even why he used the Google number.
And the fake name.
Yep.
Because this could not be a real thing.
It could not be. It could not be. But I do want to get into the part now with the what I called before, Barbara, This Is Shirley.
Okay.
Yeah, this song where the woman, the side woman talks about calling the main woman and telling her about what happened. And she wants to know, with encouragement from her family and friends, they're saying she should do it. Should she reach out to his wife and tell her what happened?
My opinion?
Your opinion?
No.
Why?
Mainly, people are crazy. This man gave you a fake name. A fake name, fake life, told you he loved you, told you he wanted kids with you. People are crazy. And if you disrupt his actual life, and now you told him all the real stuff about you, you know nothing about him.
He been to your house and everything. And
you disrupt his real life? There could possibly be consequences and repercussions as far as death.
They could be, because you don't know who you're dealing with.
You do not know. So just chalk it up as I won by now figuring this out. And luckily for me, he cut off contact too. Thank God. Because you are in some situations where people try to still keep contact with you. And then if you start ghosting them, they looking with their full family still intact. Where you going? Like, why you ain't hitting me up no more? What's up with you? Showing up to your house, stuff like that. When they still got their family, at least he cut off contact with you fully.
Right.
So count that as a win and walk away.
Yes.
You start involving yourself in that other situation, you don't know what he might do because you don't know that man.
You don't.
And it's not, I understand the woman. Based off of how he is, she got her own things that she's dealing with and her own battles that she's probably fighting in that marriage and stuff like that. Don't assume that because you saw a post of his wife or something like that and know that he's been married for 10 years, that it's squeaky clean, it's great, it's awesome.
Right.
Don't assume that.
You can't assume anything. Yeah, I'm sometimes indifferent on that topic, but overall, I usually always land with do not. It is not your place. And a part of that is because my grandmother told me for as long as I can remember that what God has for you is for you. When God wants you to see something, he wants you to know something, he wants you to be warned by something, he wants you to have something, he's going to reveal it to you. It's going to come. If you are believe in him, he's going to show it to you. Like you just said, she may already know that her husband is a liar or has cheated on her in the past. That is her marriage to deal with. if this situation is supposed to come to her attention, it will. It does not require you to do it. Whatever is supposed to happen over there will happen over there. It's not your responsibility. And for your safety more than anything, I would not get involved with trying to reach out to this woman to go over the muddy details of what he was doing with you, when he was doing it with you. Because like you said, it's not necessarily going to like burn down her happy marriage, because you don't know if she's even in a happy marriage. But yes, it's going to cause probably discourse in his household, which could then make him want to lash out at you when really he's wrong. So when you cheat, a consequence of cheating is the person that you're cheating with telling the person that you're cheating on. That is a real consequence of that. So anybody out here that thinks it's cool and cute, or that person would never do that, you really don't know. It's a risk that you take, and they have they have the freedom to do it. You may not feel like they have the right to do it. Oh, but they have the freedom to do it. You cannot actually get mad at them for doing that. You can't. You can be mad all you want, but you shouldn't say anything. Why would you do that? Well, because you hurt them, you manipulated. It's not like she knew. It's not like she was dating you under the understanding that she was your side chick. She was dating you thinking that this was the main. Yeah, this was something building is serious. So she's very hurt and angry. And so that happens. But I think for your safety, I would avoid it. If he's dealing with his brother's death and you're worrying about him mourning and all of that la, again, not being insensitive, but also not your problem. He's got a family to console him, to make sense of why he's doing what he's doing. That's his personal thing. You need to be thankful that it happened when it happened, and that you no longer have connection to him. And if he decides, because it's highly possible that he's going to let the smoke blow over, he's going to get through his brother's funeral. He's going to get through that, and he's going to reach back out. I implore you to not engage with him at all.
Well, the number should be blocked, whatever number he coming from.
But what if he used a fake number before? He removed that. What if he calls from a different number?
I don't answer numbers that I don't recognize.
Well, I'm just saying, if he does, if he finds a way to communicate with you, if he reestablishes social, whatever it is, do not engage with this person. Do not. Nothing. He doesn't need to tell you why. He doesn't need to explain it to you. It's done. It's done.
If he call you and you pick up because you don't recognize the number, and he's like, "Hey, Shells, this is Nick."
Boop, boop, boop. Okay, hang it up.
Don't even respond. Don't say a word back. Just hang it up and
Nothing.
then block the number. And then he going to try to reach out, and it's going to be like,
Because one thing, a manipulative person who is truly not recovered from that type of manipulation, all they want to hear is a crack in you. All they want to hear is you say, "I just don't understand why you would do this to me. Like, I just thought what we had was real." That's all he needs to hear.
That's it.
He know he still got you in the hook. So baby, run. Leave that woman alone. Leave this man alone. Run. Stay far away. And just don't ignore red flags going forward at all. At all. Just do yourself a favor and not think that a person living with their relative but you can't go to their house doesn't mean anything.
Yes. Just have discernment. I always say, if you have to try to make it make sense, it probably don't make sense. And understand that. So here's the issue that we face in like society today. Is that because of television, because of superheroes, because of how history is painted, we think evil things are just obviously always just blatantly in our face.
Devil red horns.
Evil, devil red horns.
Yes.
But the most dangerous form of like evilness, in my opinion, is deception. And deception comes in the form of a friend, somebody who cares about you. They they look at the weaknesses that you have and they try to exploit those. Exploitation. So it's like you think that the wrong person or the person that isn't for you is going to come disrespectful, verbally abusive, all these different things, which is possible. That's still a toxic, not good person for you.
Right.
But the ones that really hurt you and you really got to be careful are those type of people that we're talking about right now who deceive you. They come cloaked as what a good man would be. But it's
like the serpent.
Yeah, like the serpent.
Yes.
That's why they say the devil is the master in deception. Like come cloaked in, what it looks like a perfect man is supposed to be or a perfect partner is supposed to be. And then they'll keep play into that. They'll listen, observe, all right, make an adjustment, say something that gets you here, say something that gets you there. But I think if, like Rhonda and I said, if you take off the rose-colored glasses and you actually see the situation and start to think about things and does this make sense, and you start to ask questions, and you get those responses that are like, that don't seem right. Like normally when there is smoke, there's fire.
For sure.
A lot of times. I can't just make smoke.
Right. Nope.
Something got to generate the smoke.
That's right. Something.
So just keep that in mind, is that when you smell smoke, guys, like you got to figure out where it's coming from.
Yeah.
Could it be something harmless? It could be. But if you smell smoke, figure out where it's coming from.
And most importantly, figure out how to get away from it. Because, I mean, you think about a fire, you smell smoke, whether it's coming from the kitchen or the basement, the bathroom or the living room, you got to get to safety. That's the priority, is you getting to safety. So do not, again, cannot, you said it perfectly. You got to get out of there. You've got to get out of there. We hope we were able to help you. I'm sorry that this happened to you, for sure, because it sucks to be manipulated, especially for 90 days, like it's not a ton of time, but it's enough time to really establish a decent connection with someone. So to think you had something and you don't, it sucks. So I'm sorry it happened to you, but yeah, girl, run. If you want to write in, you know where to find us, relationshiprestored.com. Click the contact button and write into the show. Also follow me on social media. I'm Bronny Cakes
at SJ Smith
and at Relationship Restored. We'll see you next time.
Peace.